Hey everyone, it's Eric. Thanks for tuning in. If you watched my previous videos or if you followed me on social media in the last decade, you know that I'm a really big fan of health and nutrition. Of all the nutritional advice and thousands of diet books in circulation, you may wonder why I chose specifically the blood type diet as my metabolic roadmap. Maybe you're not interested in my story, which is fine, but you've heard of the diet from a friend, coworker, relative, or John Green.
According to the blood type diet, what runs through your veins has an effect on what lands on your hips.
In light of the 20th anniversary and release of the newly revised New York Times best-selling Eat Right for Your Type, let's take a look at this unique and often controversial idea about choosing what to eat based on your blood type. I said metabolic roadmap, but limiting the blood type diet to weight management does it a great disservice. Sure, people use it to lose weight, and that's awesome, but that's kind of like marrying someone because their parents are rich. Financial security is super awesome, and no one can fault you for wanting to pay your bills, but a matrimonious commitment should arguably be based on love and fidelity. That's kind of what the blood type diet is about. Health, expression, quality of life. The weight loss or gain is just an added bonus. As you know, the word diet just means what you eat. Worms eat dirt and bacteria. Chimps eat insects, fruit, and leaves. If you only eat White Castle hamburgers, you follow the White Castle hamburger diet. Does that mean I eat my blood type? Actually, kind of, sort of, yeah, but that's a different topic for another time. So, part of the reason the blood type diet is often labeled as a fad diet is due to how the word diet has been hijacked and, frankly, manipulated by the weight loss industry. It's not something you do for 6 weeks to fit into a bridesmaid's dress. It's a lifestyle. It's a commitment. So to make an argument, we have to start with an assumption. The assumption that food can affect your health physically, emotionally, psychologically may have been a tough starting point a half a century ago. But I think today most health professionals would agree at some level that you are what you eat. Publicly, this is certainly true, from the Weight Watchers of the 60s, the Atkins of the 90s, the vegans of the 20-teens. We've only seen exponential market share of books, shakes, programs, supplements, gurus, and health food stores. If we can all agree that a healthy diet is a good thing, why can't we agree on what makes a healthy human diet? All the experts seem to have their answers and plenty of followers to back them up, but we are a population of one single species. You would think we would have one agreed upon range of food selections instead of the hundreds available, most of them contradicting one another. This problem is not new. Time for a short history lesson. It was the 19th century when practitioners of many different backgrounds began understanding and embracing natural therapies, diet, lifestyle, and holistic living as tools for improving the health of their patients. The word naturopathy was coined in 1892, and this philosophy has since gained tremendous momentum. Before states in the US began licensing naturopathic doctors, many practitioners would travel to Europe to gain training in the most established and prominent institutes. One of these early naturopaths was James D'Adamo, a New York native who started his practice in Brooklyn after training in Germany and Switzerland. It was during his training that he noticed the standard diet administered to patients suffering from arthritis, gout, and many other illnesses was effective for a lot of patients but left many feeling sluggish, pale, and weak. This strict vegetarian diet, the gold standard for early naturopathy, caused a good percentage of its patients to become depressed, fatigued, and atrophied. D'Adamo believed that to be an effective healer, he had to implement a strategy that worked for 100%, not just a majority of his patients. So rewind 50 years, Karl Landsteiner discovered the 4 human blood types, O, A, B, and AB, in 1900. In no time, doctors had begun wondering if this new genetic differentiation that was the cause of so many deaths from rejected blood transfusions could also determine how people metabolize food. The question lingered for a few years, but fizzled out by the end of the Second World War. But D'Adamo, while studying in Germany in the 50s, became intrigued by the idea of blood type as a genetic marker for diet. A strong believer in personalized treatments in spite of one-size-fits-all therapies accepted by all but a few naturopaths at the time, D'Adamo brought this hypothesis back to his practice in Brooklyn. It was there that he further refined his observations, blood typing and documenting thousands of patients over a 20-year span. The results were consistent and unambiguous. Blood type A patients were the healthiest on plant-based diets, and type O patients were healthiest on animal protein diets. The blood type diet we know and love today is the refined and published work of D'Adamo's son, Peter. After his undergrad years, Peter D'Adamo was interested in pursuing naturopathic medicine like his father, but with a more scientific approach. He was a first-year graduate from Bastyr University, the first accredited naturopathic medical school in the United States. I actually had the chance to interview the president emeritus of Bastyr in 2011, so if you haven't seen that yet, you can click here. It was at Bastyr during his senior year for a clinical rounds requirement that Peter had the chance to put his father's ideas under the light of scientific scrutiny. In his own words, he says, "I began scanning the medical literature to see if I could find any correlation between the ABO blood types and a predilection for certain diseases, and whether any of this supported my father's diet theory. Since my father's book was based on his subjective impressions of the blood types rather than on an objective method of evaluation, I wasn't certain I would be able to find any scientific basis for his theories, but I was amazed at what I learned. The discovery was that people with blood type O were more prone to developing stomach ulcers than the other blood types, and people with type A blood were more prone to stomach cancer and B12 anemia. In other words, diseases of too much stomach acid were a type O problem, and diseases of too little stomach acid were a type A problem. This made sense because stomach acid is required for the conversion of peptic enzymes to digest meat, and low stomach acid makes animal protein much more difficult to digest. This fueled his quest for research into the blood type-related findings in the medical literature. Peter D'Adamo graduated from Bastyr in 1982 and continued to make further discoveries during his initial years in practice. For example, lectins, hemagglutination, and immune reactions to foods with sugars similar to other blood types. He had developed a diet system that yielded a tremendous success rate. His patients encouraged him to publish his blood type diet, and so in 1996, Eat Right for Your Type was printed and made its way to the top of the best-selling list. It is regarded to this day as one of the most influential diet books of all time. Unfortunately, there is no other dietary program in existence that accounts for one's individuality or genetics. Even in the medical arena, one-size-fits-all has gone out the window with a new paradigm of personalized medicine. So why do dietitians still prescribe the same diets to all their clients? The blood type diet doesn't make promises of curing cancer or achieving immortality. What it does, when followed correctly, and that's important, is give the body the chance to heal itself. So much of our immune function is tied up in sorting out what we eat, dealing with inflammation, and maintaining homeostasis, that oftentimes things get out of whack. By giving the body a chance to breathe, so to speak, we free the immune system to take care of what it's had to neglect. Whether that's inflammation, fatigue, weight gain, stress, it's up to your genes. But your body doesn't want to hurt you. Pain, disease, and discomfort are all alert signals. Your DNA is the repair manual, and a proper diet is a critical step in the recovery and maintenance process. Peter D'Adamo doesn't claim that his diet system is the end-all be-all of nutrition. We're all unique even beyond our blood type, and D'Adamo knows this. That's why he continues to research and refine his methods, knowing full well that the only way to prescribe the perfect diet and lifestyle would be to map a person's entire genome, a feat of technology and understanding that we currently don't possess. So until another forward-thinking naturopath, allopath, geneticist, or swami figures out how to interpret all 3 billion base pairs of human DNA, we're stuck with the next best thing. Given the unusually high success rate of the blood type diet and self-reported outcomes, in terms of improved mood, energy levels, chronic disease, and weight management, and a list that goes on, I would say it's worth a decent effort. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe.